I guess real quick about the part 3 thing and how it will set up, if it will, Children of Dune. Another reason why I don't think it's going to be such a huge merger of Messiah and Children of Dune is because Denis Villeneuve has stated that he doesn't want to go beyond Messiah, but he wants to make sure that the seeds are there for a future filmmaker to adapt the later books. And I think with what the marketing has been, with what he stated, I think he will follow in spirit what Messiah's story is, especially with the Dune official account coming out and basically not confirming what the title of the movie is. Mm-hmm. But they also, very significantly in their tweet, when they said production's going to start and the third film of Denis Villeneuve's trilogy, they have the quote, "On a journey into that land where we walk without footprints." And I think that's very significant. The full quote is, "We say of Muad'Dib that he has gone on a journey into that land where we walk without footprints." I think it's very intentional that they put that quote in there. They didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
They could just said production started and leave it at that. But I think because the Variety article and the title sparked such a firestorm of, well, what book is he adapting? Is he going to do Children of Dune and Messiah mashup? That quote, which specifically remarks on the end of Messiah and him walking into the desert, I think they were trying to hint that that's where they would end it. And I can't think of a more epic ending to Denis Villeneuve's trilogy than that. He's already sown seeds of that. We've seen in visions a mysterious figure walking into the desert. He's said a couple of times, my road leads into the desert, my path. He's already planted those seeds. That's how it's going to end. And I feel like it would just beautifully encapsulate these 3 movies. If in keeping with the source material, that's where he ends it. It's a beautiful ending. And if it's not the last shot, one of the last shots, I think it should be. I think that would just be a really cool, hard-hitting ending. I think it would be so celebrated also by movie fans and book fans. I can't see it going further and jumping forward another 10 years and kind of undercutting that end. And also, it would interfere with a future filmmaker coming in to do Children of Dune and to cast his own set of actors for the twins who could be more up to the challenge of such a challenging role. I feel like it really will affect the pacing if we're just going to thrust ourselves into Children of Dune's narrative with a whole new conspiracy and a whole new political games.
Right.
So that's why I think that's very telling that the first time the Dune official account was coming out, that's what they decided to say, that quote, and to not officially say what the title of the movie is. I just think they're leaving that open-ended. They could go either way.
Yeah,
but I
that's a
feel
great
like
point.
the use of that quote is very significant.
I think you're right. And man, that would be such a powerful theater experience. And I remember Infinity War's ending when, the bad guy wins and the credits roll and people are a little bit waiting to see if something else comes. And there's this powerful cultural moment of people going online talking about it. I think the end of this movie holds a lot of potential power. And man, I really do. I hope it ends on that visual of the mysterious figure walking into the storm.
This is from a film perspective and a book fan. The source material is amazing. Dune Messiah is a lot of people's favorite book.
Yeah.
And it's kind of tied now. Dune is always my favorite for so long, but I think upon subsequent rereadings of Messiah, I love it. I love that it's so different and it's really steeped in philosophy, and what's going on inside Paul's head is just beautifully written and could be so epic of a conclusion to Villeneuve's interpretation. And this is where he stated this is where he wants to end Paul Atreides' arc. It's an end, even though there's more. But I just feel like for these 3 films that encompass this portion of his life, that's an epic ending. I just can't think of a more hard-hitting and epic conclusion than what's already there for you in the source material. I feel like it's just what would be a beautiful marriage between the films and the source material.
That would be a beautiful way to end it. And Denis does have so much love for the books, and he talks about how the book is his Bible on set, and he has infinite notes and rereading it, and he's clearly a Frank Herbert stan, and I think you're right, that would be the most powerful option, and I think he probably realized that too, and he's fighting for that to be the reality.
And I still think there could be inklings of Children of Dune in there that's going around so often, I don't know, but I think the heart of the story should definitely be Paul, and that should be what we walk away from, his journey and all of this, where it ends. I think it would be a mistake to kind of undercut that by jumping forward in time and starting a new narrative. And I do hope that Children of Dune just becomes its own entity itself, and it will be different, just like Dune Messiah is different from Dune. I hope that it does get adapted one day, because the author saw these first 3 books as one story. And we see a lot of the same returning characters in Children of Dune, so it makes sense.
I think we're all feeling the same. We're all very hopeful, and in my opinion, these are the best Dune movies by a long shot. I got to see the miniseries. That is on my immediate to-do list after this conversation.
I'm more excited to see like a big screen adaptation of Dune Messiah, but the miniseries is definitely worth a watch. James McAvoy is incredible, a lot of great performances. And Children of Dune especially, they have more of a budget. It does get better.
Yeah.
Sandworms actually look really good for the technology at the time. It still holds up.
I've barely seen any images from any of the miniseries, so I'm trying to go in as blind as possible, so I'm excited to discover it for myself.
It doesn't get talked about as much, especially recently. No one mentions it on the press circuit, any of the cast and crew for Dune. It's always like David Lynch's version. James McAvoy gets asked occasionally about it. But yeah, no, I am surprised about that. That doesn't get as much love. And it was only 20 years ago, too. It's not that old. That's my hopes for part 3, is that rather than shooting forward into Children of Dune with the moniker of part 3, I hope that what that really means is that we're going to make up for things that we're missing previously from the Dune adaptation in regards to also lore with the Spacing Guild. And hopefully we're going to see the Jihad as well. A ton of opportunities for action scenes, huge epic battle sequences. And I feel like it could still be warranted with the part 3 moniker if there were those elements in it from Dune and then in between.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of opportunities. And when you said the word jihad, that made me think about the lack of religious terms that they're using. I'm sure it's studio pressure wanting to avoid as much, controversy or pushback as possible, but that was a part of my sadness when they announced that it wasn't Dune Messiah, is that, man, first they got rid of Jihad, then they're getting rid of Messiah, and they're sort of erasing an important part of the series. When I think about it from like a capitalist perspective, it makes sense. You're trying to put butts in seats and get all the denominations to go see this movie that's pretty inherently like challenging to religion.
I can only guess as to what their reason is. That probably is a factor, but I also think it hits way harder if it's called Dune Messiah.
I've been saying for a couple years that I'm desperately hoping that they keep it Messiah, but at the end of the day, it's the title and it's still going to be following-ish the book. And I don't know, either Messiah or Children of Dune is my favorite book so far, so.
At the end of the day, it's just a lot of fun to speculate. And even with this, I'm sure this new film, Dune 3, I probably can set the same expectation there, that there's going to be things that I'm going to absolutely fall in love with. And I can be assured that Paul Atreides' journey, the director's done very well with that. So I'm hopeful that that will continue.